Africa in 10 minutes, where we bring to you the trending business news of the week as reported on Footprint to Africa. I'm Shamaka J. Uwadoka. Small businesses in South Africa profit from government's policy interventions. New road infrastructure set to boost Kenya-Uganda trade. Chinese fund to build 20,000 houses for civil servants in Kenya. And finally, Ghana International Bank to expand operations into East Africa. Small businesses in South Africa have experienced significant capacity growth from government efforts in promoting more inclusive growth and an environment that enables them flourish. These efforts have seen over 600 enterprises being assisted with skills and startup support so they can run their businesses successfully. In other news, Jumia Travel has urged the government to invest in the tourism industry to help create jobs and increase foreign earnings. The managing director of Jumia Ghana indicated that the total contribution of tourism and travel to Ghana's GDP in 2015 was around 10.5 billion Ghana cedis, which represents 7.8% of the total GDP. She also said that the challenges hindering its expansion should be addressed. Moving now to East Africa, trade between Uganda and Kenya is projected to increase as the construction of a new and shorter route from Mbale to the Lwakaka border post in eastern Uganda kicks off. The State Minister for Trade said when this road is complete, the quantity of exports and imports through Kenya is set to increase. Still in East Africa, the China-Africa Development Fund, the CAD Fund, is set to build 20,000 houses for civil and public servants in Kenya in conjunction with the China Civil Engineering Construction Company and Kenyan firm Suraya Property Group Limited. This follows the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between CAD Fund and the government. The agreement will be a major boost to Kenya's housing sector, which develops only 50,000 new housing units in comparison to the 200,000 houses required annually. In Nigeria, the Bank of Industry has expressed its readiness to partner entrepreneurs in tailoring its funding initiatives to achieve greater economic impact. The Development Bank has urged its customers and would-be beneficiaries to come forward with inputs that would enable the bank serve them optimally. Still in Nigeria, the Industrial Training Fund and Cement Company of Northern Nigeria have partnered to revive the skills training program for artisans engaged in block making in the country. This is following discussions between the two organizations in Sokoto, Nigeria. The Acting Director General of the Industrial Training Fund said the fund's skills training and development for job creation is yielding substantial results as most graduates have set up successful businesses of their own. The Permanent Secretary of the Ugandan Ministry of Gender has announced the government's intention to avail more than 2,000 groups of women access to interest-free loans worth 43 billion shillings under the Uganda Women's Entrepreneurship Program. He said the intervention would lower the financial hurdles hindering women from kickstarting and expanding enterprises. In banking news, the African Development Bank has approved a $310 million trade finance loan for EcoBank Transnational Incorporated to provide trade finance funding in the economies in which EcoBank operates. The facility will, among other things, support vital economic sectors and non-traditional exports in addressing critical market demand for trade finance and dollar liquidity. It will also foster financial sector development, provide a platform to support intra-African trade, and support financing of medium-term infrastructure projects. In the energy sector, Nigeria has witnessed the launch of a program to provide better and more reliable access to electricity for corporates and small and medium enterprises by facilitating the deployment of off-grid and embedded solar systems in the country's commercial and industrial sectors. The partnership between the International Financial Corporation and the UK's Department for International Development will utilize Nigeria's abundant solar resources, thus contributing to the country's sustainable economic growth and its objectives of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And finally this week, Ghana International Bank has disclosed plans to expand its operations into East Africa to help improve Ghana's trade finance. According to City Business, the executive director of the bank stated that the major objective of the bank is to strengthen financial relationship with other countries to help improve Ghana's trade budget. That wraps up this week's trending news. We'll be back with a recap of the stories. Small businesses in South Africa profit from government policy interventions. Jumia advocates public sector partnership for tourism growth. New road infrastructure set to boost Kenya-Uganda trade. Chinese fund to build 20,000 houses for civil servants in Kenya. Bank of Industry to partner entrepreneurs on intervention initiatives. The Industrial Training Fund and the Cement Company of Northern Nigeria partner to enhance artisans' capabilities. Government to extend interest-free loans to women groups in Uganda. EcoBank granted $310 million loan by the African Development Bank. International Finance Corporation and the Department for International Development partner to improve electricity access for SMEs in Nigeria. And finally, Ghana International Bank to expand operations into East Africa. For questions, comments, and to keep up with the trending business news, stay connected. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and connect with us on LinkedIn. This news and reports are called from Footprints Africa. For daily updates and more business news in Africa, visit www.footprintsafrica.com today. Footprints Africa. Business news made in Africa by Africans.